Hello, everybody. In this Polio podcast nation, we will be talking about Djibouti. It's a nation which shares a border or a coastal area with the Red Sea, by the way. And you probably may heard of in the recent days, America and then Iran clash over on Hormuz, that is on Arabian Sea, but a lot of shipping containers, a lot of oil also flows through that uh, Strait of Hormuz, and then Iran used to blockade of that. But when you think about the Red Sea, uh, you know, the entering while you're entering the Red Sea, you have to pass through the first country probably you might gonna face. The first country you'll see while entering to the Red Sea, it's Djibouti. Sort of it sits right into that choke point, and a lot of big nations, America, England, France, Italy, even Japan, they have their military bases in Djibouti. Djibouti is, they're allowing, the big nations to come in and to build their big military bases in their country. And that, giving them, some, the profit, people just go in. It's just not because, they build a military base in there, but also give a it also brings the revenue for the Djibouti. They gives money to the host nation. Uh, I think it can be like a rental basis. I guess having a military basis in there, you gotta pay a sort of the lease amount or the rent kind of the amount in there. And by the way, Djibouti, they I don't think we probably may never heard of they've been IT sector or the economical wise, they're producing whatever the agricultural product to the certain electric. You maybe never heard of that, but the main revenue giving the money to the Djibouti and then having built a military base in there. That's what bringing the Djibouti big revenue. Japan, for instance, they have their first I think military base outside of their own country. The first place they have their military base is in Djibouti, because Djibouti it sits very the choke point of the Red Sea, and the Red Sea, by the way, which what it connects the Europe to the Asia. China, they ships a lot of the products to what Europe, right? And they have to use the Red Sea. First things are gonna things are gonna go into the Red Sea, and then it's gonna meet into the uh, Egypt, the Suez Canal, and then things will gonna move on to the Europe. You know, so it's this Suez Canal and the Djibouti, China. It's a big deal, and China also have a military base in Djibouti. They also paid a huge amount of money uh, to the Djibouti to having the military base in there, because they sell a lot of goods to the Europe using that place, and they don't want something conflict. They don't want somebody taking over to that place and then probably putting what the a toll or something like that. They don't want that, right? They want to have a some sort of security and everything. And back in the days, the Somalians, they used to pirate uh, shipping containers as well. So having military place is just gonna you can quick response to those people and everything. It's a helpful, right? Minimizing the conflict, having making sure your military. Your country military allowing putting some security to your goods to go smoothly towards the other country, and you to sell using Suez and the Red Sea and the so Djibouti is a every all nations, big nations, by the way, they want their military present in there, and Djibouti also letting them to have military presented there, and they're making a lot of money on that. I don't think of there even a lot of people, tourism people who also visits to their country, but military base, giving away the land for lease for other countries to having these military base. That's what getting them revenue. And in the past also we can uh, I think we've seen the Djibouti, like the Americans to American alliance to come in, build their military base in there, and then now they're letting China to come and build. And yeah, you know that's what I remember Djibouti as. Speaking about the politics of the Djibouti, I think it's always about politics also based on this is the main income resource for them. So whichever the politics supports this in other countries, letting in, and then you know allowing Djibouti to make some money. I think that's the party uh, who's going to thrive, and it's going to be surviving there. And then Djibouti is also, I can assume, they're a nation of UN, and Djibouti also letting other countries to build. You know, so yeah, because that's what their main income source is. So that's what their main income source is. I don't think of any other, manufacturing wise or producing wise. I've never heard of them. And then speaking about the education, they might have their own language. Uh, by the way, I do want to point out that because a lot of countries have the military present in Djibouti, nearby military, present bases, a lot of hotels you can see, you know, because a lot of foreigners, by the way, they come in and stay in there. Those hotels been built upon very nearest to those military camps, military bases, and everything. So it's the economy based on that. And then social culture wise, they might, these the local people of Djibouti might share a similar culture as other African nation people. But I think a lot of Westerners, a lot of outsider people still lives in there too. So that's what I can remember Djibouti has for now. Uh, so with that, I'll end up right here, and then I'll see you guys in the next video.